History is filled with stories, events, and places that invite quiet curiosity. Some of these stories are well known, documented in books and archives, while others hover at the edges of understanding, whispered in legends or hinted at in ancient texts. There is a unique calm in exploring history, not just as a series of facts, but as a landscape where the known and the unknown coexist. As we move through time, we notice patterns and mysteries that challenge assumptions, revealing that the past is far more intricate than simple timelines suggest. In this video, we embark on a journey through history's quieter corners, moments and places that evoke wonder, curiosity, and a gentle sense of mystery. From enigmatic monuments to unsolved events, forgotten civilizations, and obscure phenomena, these stories balance fact and speculation. The rhythm of discovery is unhurried. There is no pressure to solve, only to observe and reflect. Each tale is a doorway, leading us from the certainty of recorded events into the soft twilight of the unknown. This introduction sets the stage for a long, immersive journey, an exploration designed to be both calming and intriguing. The mysteries we encounter are not frightening. They are invitations to consider the vastness of human experience, the depth of time, and the beauty of questions without immediate answers. In this space, the mind can wander, settle, and drift, guided by curiosity and the gentle tension between what we know and what remains hidden. Long before modern cities and technologies, humans built civilizations that reached remarkable levels of organization, art, and science. Yet, some of these societies have left traces that puzzle modern scholars. Artifacts, structures, and records whose purposes remain uncertain. They remind us that the past was alive with ingenuity and knowledge, much of which may have been lost over time. Exploring these remnants invites contemplation of the fleeting nature of human achievement and the mysteries that remain. Sites like the pyramids of Egypt, the temples of Angkor, and the ruins of Mohenjo-daro reveal extraordinary craftsmanship and planning. Yet, the motivations, methods, and full significance behind these structures are often unknown. Why were they built in these precise locations? What knowledge guided their construction? Such questions are not burdens to solve, but gentle sparks for curiosity, encouraging the imagination to wander among the sands of time, imagining hands and minds at work. Lost knowledge also appears in more subtle forms. Undeciphered scripts, missing libraries, and technologies that seem ahead of their time. Each fragment hints at a world of thought, discovery, and practice that may never be fully recovered. In contemplating these civilizations, there is a meditative quality, a quiet acknowledgement that history is layered, mysterious, and deeply human. These reflections prepare the mind for the unfolding stories of unexplained events and phenomena that lie just beyond the light of recorded knowledge. Archaeology often presents puzzles rather than clear answers. Objects unearthed from ancient contexts sometimes defy explanation, either because their use is unclear, their origin is unexpected, or their craftsmanship seems ahead of their time. These artifacts are windows into lives that have long since ended, yet they speak in whispers that ignite curiosity. Holding their mysteries without needing immediate answers becomes a meditation on human ingenuity. Some artifacts are mundane yet enigmatic, a tool shaped unusually, a sculpture depicting unknown symbols, or a piece of technology whose purpose is debated. Others are more dramatic, intricate devices, large stone constructions, or objects found far from their presumed origin. Each discovery is a delicate balance between fact and speculation, inviting us to explore possibilities while embracing uncertainty. The beauty of archaeological mystery lies in the slow unfolding of understanding. Excavations reveal fragments, patterns, and anomalies that hint at stories beyond full comprehension. Each layer of earth, each piece of pottery, is part of a rhythm that moves between clarity and ambiguity, fact and conjecture. For the reflective listener, these artifacts are not puzzles to be solved urgently, but gateways to imagining human experience across time and space, fostering curiosity while gently lulling the mind into the calm tension of the unknown. Beyond the stones and monuments that still stand today, there lies an even greater mystery. Cities and civilizations that have vanished almost completely, leaving only whispers and fragments for the modern world to discover. These lost places evoke a sense of wonder that is both soothing and profound, inviting the mind to wander through shadows of human achievement and imagination. Unlike structures still standing, these vanished cities are defined as much by their absence as by the traces that remain, offering a gentle invitation to contemplate impermanence, resilience, and the passage of time. Each fragment we uncover is a bridge between what once was and what might have been, a silent story unfolding beneath layers of earth, vegetation, and centuries of neglect. Consider the fabled city of Atlantis, first described in philosophical writings, its location debated for centuries, its existence uncertain, yet its allure undeniable. Whether imagined or real, Atlantis embodies the human fascination with lost knowledge and vanished civilizations. The legend prompts us to imagine a society of remarkable sophistication, capable of extraordinary accomplishments, yet suddenly erased, leaving only the imagination to fill the gaps. In this tale, as in many lost cities, the unknown coexists with the known, a delicate balance that encourages reflection rather than immediate answers. There is comfort in the ambiguity, a sense that some mysteries are meant to drift slowly into the mind, like leaves carried on a quiet stream. History, however, provides more tangible examples. Cities such as Petra in Jordan, swallowed in part by desert sands, or Machu Picchu, hidden high in the Andes, are real places whose stories echo across centuries. Petra, carved into red sandstone cliffs, reveals the skill and artistry of the Nabateans, yet much about their society, their daily lives, their motivations, and the reasons for the city's eventual decline remains elusive. Machu Picchu, perched amidst steep mountains, reflects the ingenuity of the Inca civilization, its purpose partly ceremonial, partly strategic, but still cloaked in mystery. In both cases, the surviving architecture invites reflection on human resilience and creativity, while the unknowns provoke gentle curiosity, an invitation to contemplate the lives that once animated these spaces. Some lost cities are hidden beneath the earth or water, discovered only through careful excavation or modern technology. Cities submerged beneath lakes or rivers, abandoned settlements buried beneath centuries of sediment, and structures hidden by dense forests all speak of human civilizations intimately connected to their environment. Each discovery uncovers new insights, yet each also leaves lingering questions. How did these cities thrive in their time? What led to their abandonment? And what lessons did their inhabitants leave behind, encoded subtly in architecture, art, and written records? In exploring these lost places, the mind is guided toward reflection, moving gently between understanding and speculation. Archaeology often provides glimpses of the social and cultural lives that once flourished in these lost cities. Excavated artifacts, ceramics, tools, jewelry, inscriptions offer fragments of daily life, yet rarely tell the full story. A broken pot suggests domestic routines, but we cannot fully know the conversations held over meals or the laughter of children playing in narrow streets. A carved tablet hints at trade, governance, or spiritual practices, yet much remains silent. This interplay between clarity and ambiguity is where fascination thrives, as the mind fills in the spaces left intentionally or inevitably blank. The pleasure of discovery is not only in what is known, but in the quiet reverie prompted by what is unknown. Legends often grow from these lost cities, adding layers of narrative that mingle fact with imagination. Stories of hidden treasures, secret knowledge, and vanished wisdom persist in both oral tradition and literary record. These legends are more than fanciful tales. They reflect a human need to preserve memory, to grapple with impermanence, and to connect across generations. They also create a rhythm of expectation and reflection, gently pulling the listener deeper into contemplation. In these narratives, history and mystery exist in tandem, a dance of shadow and light that guides the mind toward gentle curiosity rather than anxiety. The disappearance of cities and civilizations also reminds us of the fragility of human endeavor. Natural disasters, climate change, economic collapse, and conquest have repeatedly reshaped the human landscape, leaving once thriving metropolises abandoned and slowly reclaimed by nature. The ruins that remain are eloquent, showing both achievement and impermanence, mastery and vulnerability. In considering these patterns, there is a quiet lesson. History is not a fixed record, but a living, breathing continuum of creation, decay, and memory. The silence of lost cities is not empty. It is full of stories waiting to be discovered, interpreted, and imagined. Many lost cities also offer tantalizing hints of connections between civilizations, suggesting trade routes, cultural exchange, or shared knowledge. Archaeologists have traced artifacts across continents, revealing surprising links between societies once thought isolated. These connections raise questions. How did ideas, technologies, or beliefs travel? Which stories were shared, and which remained secret? The gaps in our understanding are as important as the discoveries themselves, as they invite the imagination to trace invisible threads across time and space. There is a calm joy in this kind of pondering, as the mind drifts along the currents of history without urgency, letting mysteries unfold at their own pace. Even the geography surrounding lost cities adds layers to the enigma. River valleys, mountain passes, deserts, and coastlines all shaped the rise and fall of civilizations, influencing agriculture, trade, defense, and spirituality. Some cities vanished because rivers shifted course, deserts encroached, or volcanic eruptions buried them beneath ash. Others disappeared for reasons lost to time, leaving archaeologists and historians piecing together clues from fragmentary records. In considering these landscapes, the mind learns to move slowly, tracing contours and imagining life within these environments, understanding that human history is inseparable from the world it inhabits. Ultimately, the allure of lost cities lies not only in the search for facts, but in the meditative space they create. They invite the listener to drift between curiosity and reflection, to embrace the pleasure of wondering without demanding closure. As we consider ruins reclaimed by nature or cities that have faded entirely from memory, we feel a connection to generations long past, a shared humanity that transcends time. This gentle engagement nurtures both curiosity and calm, allowing the imagination to roam freely while the mind remains grounded in the quiet rhythm of discovery. And so, as we conclude our exploration of lost cities and vanished civilizations, a pattern begins to emerge. History is a tapestry woven of both knowledge and mystery, with each discovery offering insight and each gap inviting reflection. The monuments and artifacts we have encountered lead naturally to stories that blend legend, human ambition, and enigma. The night deepens, and the mind, soothed by the rhythm of the past, is ready to drift further, guided by the subtle interplay of shadow and light, certainty and uncertainty. These vanished cities are companions in quiet contemplation, silent yet eloquent, and they prepare us to move onward into the deeper mysteries of history that await. Among the echoes of vanished cities and monuments, there exist objects whose presence is at once tangible and enigmatic, artifacts that bridge the gap between history and mystery. These relics, whether carefully crafted tools, ceremonial items, or seemingly ordinary objects, carry within them the fingerprints of human thought, skill, and imagination. Unlike ruins or cities, which offer broader context, artifacts are intimate glimpses into daily lives, spiritual beliefs, and technological prowess. They are tactile remnants of minds long past, yet their meanings are often obscured, leaving room for speculation and wonder. Holding these objects in imagination, one begins to sense the pulse of human curiosity across the ages, a quiet heartbeat that reverberates even through silence and absence. Some artifacts are astonishing in their sophistication, defying expectations for the time and place in which they were created. The Antikythera mechanism, recovered from a shipwreck off the Greek coast, is one such marvel. A complex device capable of predicting celestial movements centuries before similar technology appeared elsewhere. Scholars study its gears, inscriptions, and design, uncovering extraordinary knowledge encoded in bronze. Yet many questions remain unanswered. Who built it, for whom, and why? What knowledge might have been lost with the passage of time? The device becomes more than a scientific curiosity. It is a bridge between eras, reminding us that human ingenuity has always been a mixture of precision, creativity, and mystery. Other artifacts are smaller, more delicate, yet no less compelling. Ornate jewelry, carved figurines, and painted pottery reveal not only aesthetic sensibilities, but also cultural values, beliefs, and social hierarchies. A small amulet may indicate protection, spiritual guidance, or status, yet without written records, its precise significance remains elusive. A fragment of pottery, decorated with abstract symbols, may hint at rituals, cosmology, or personal expression. These objects invite the imagination to fill in the gaps, to consider lives that are at once ordinary and extraordinary, and to appreciate the subtle interplay between material culture and human consciousness. Artifacts also serve as windows into technological and scientific knowledge, highlighting the ingenuity of civilizations often underestimated in modern narratives. Iron tools, navigation instruments, and agricultural implements reveal sophisticated understanding of physics, geometry, and ecology. Some artifacts, such as early maps or astrological charts, illustrate complex observational skills and an awareness of the natural world that remains impressive even today. Each item embodies a blend of practical necessity and intellectual curiosity, reminding us that even in the distant past, humans sought not only to survive but also to understand, to predict, and to shape their environment with insight and care. Yet the most captivating artifacts are often those that resist interpretation. Objects with unknown function, inscriptions in undeciphered scripts, or relics whose origins are unclear provoke a quiet fascination. The Voynich manuscript, for instance, remains a puzzle centuries after its creation, filled with illustrations of plants, celestial charts, and symbols that continue to elude translation. Here, the artifact is not only a record, but also a riddle, a challenge for the mind to explore without demanding resolution. In contemplating these mysteries, we enter a space of gentle wonder, where curiosity flows freely and imagination becomes a companion to scholarship. Artifacts can also evoke a profound sense of continuity with the human past. A simple clay pot, worn smooth by handling over centuries, or a tool used in daily labor, carries the weight of countless hands and lives. These objects remind us that across time, human needs, desires, and creativity have remained remarkably consistent, even as civilizations rise and fall. In quiet reflection, we begin to sense the shared humanity embedded in these relics, a connection that transcends culture, geography, and historical period. The artifact becomes more than an object. It becomes a storyteller, speaking softly across the centuries. Some artifacts carry with them the tension of legend and reality, blurring the line between fact and myth. Treasure hoards, ceremonial masks, and sacred relics often appear in stories passed down through generations, adding layers of meaning to objects whose original context might be lost. These tales are not distractions from history. Rather, they enhance the sense of mystery, providing a narrative rhythm that mirrors the ebb and flow of imagination. By engaging with these artifacts, we participate in a dialogue between past and present, where both the known and the unknown coexist, creating a space for meditative curiosity. The context in which artifacts are discovered also enriches their story. found in tombs, temples, shipwrecks, or buried beneath layers of sediment. Each object carries with it clues about its environment and the people who valued it. Archaeologists meticulously document location, orientation, and surrounding artifacts, seeking patterns that reveal social, economic, or spiritual dynamics. Yet even the most detailed study cannot always provide definitive answers. Some items appear isolated, their origins mysterious, while others form part of larger assemblages whose meaning has been obscured by time. This tension between discovery and uncertainty sustains the sense of quiet fascination, allowing the mind to linger in a contemplative state. Many artifacts also suggest connections across time and space. Trade goods, coins, and inscriptions reveal networks of communication, cultural exchange, and shared knowledge between distant civilizations. An object originating in one region, found in another, tells a story of human mobility, curiosity, and interconnectedness. These discoveries invite the imagination to trace invisible threads across continents, considering the journeys of objects as reflections of human interaction, desire, and ingenuity. In this way, artifacts become not only remnants of the past, but guides to a broader understanding of human history. The aesthetics of artifacts further contribute to their allure. The careful carving of bone, wood, or stone, the intricate inlay of metals, the delicate brushstrokes of painted pottery, all reflect an attention to beauty, symbolism, and craft. These objects are not merely functional. They are expressions of identity, culture, and worldview. In observing them, the mind is invited to slow down, to notice detail, to appreciate the subtle interplay of form, function, and meaning. This gentle focus, in turn, fosters a calm engagement as the observer drifts into a reflective space where history, artistry, and mystery meet. In the quiet contemplation of artifacts, there is also a meditation on the passage of time. Each item represents both a specific moment and the endurance of human effort across centuries or millennia. Some are broken or worn, yet their essence persists, offering evidence of continuity, adaptation, and resilience. There is a subtle poetry in imagining the hands that crafted, used, or revered these objects, and the hands that have uncovered and preserved them. In this interplay of creation, use, and discovery, artifacts become silent teachers, guiding the mind toward gentle reflection and wonder. Finally, artifacts remind us that history is as much about questions as it is about answers. While many objects reveal details of daily life, technology, or belief, others defy explanation, encouraging the mind to wander and imagine. This balance between clarity and enigma is the essence of historical fascination. The unknowns invite meditation rather than urgency, providing a rhythm in which curiosity flows calmly and the imagination explores possibilities without pressure. Artifacts, in their quiet presence, teach patience, contemplation, and a reverent appreciation for human creativity across time. As we conclude this exploration of enigmatic artifacts and relics, we are left with a sense of intimacy and connection. These objects, whether monumental or modest, practical or mysterious, serve as bridges between past and present, known and unknown. They allow us to touch history in a tactile and imaginative way, nurturing curiosity and reflection simultaneously. And as our journey moves onward into the next chapters of unexplained phenomena and historical enigmas, these artifacts linger in the mind, gentle reminders that even the smallest fragment can hold a universe of stories waiting to be discovered. Even after centuries of study, human history remains punctuated by mysteries that resist explanation, phenomena that hover between fact and imagination. These unexplained events, artifacts, and occurrences create a gentle tension in the mind, inviting curiosity while soothing it with the rhythm of reflection. Unlike straightforward historical accounts, these mysteries do not demand resolution. They offer instead a space for quiet contemplation, where the listener drifts between the known and the unknown, sensing the vast tapestry of human experience beyond the immediate or the visible. There is a unique pleasure in such ambiguity, a meditative acknowledgement that some answers may never come, yet the questions themselves are endlessly engaging. One category of unexplained phenomena centers around strange artifacts whose origins or purposes remain unclear. Objects found in ancient contexts, sometimes centuries older than the civilizations with which they are associated, challenge our understanding of history. These items provoke questions about lost technologies, forgotten knowledge, or the limits of human capability. Unlike artifacts whose function is easily discerned, these objects speak in riddles, their significance hidden beneath layers of time, interpretation, and speculation. They allow the imagination to wander, filling gaps with conjecture and wonder, yet without urgency, nurturing the gentle curiosity that is a hallmark of this exploration. In addition to mysterious objects, historical accounts themselves contain events that defy easy explanation. Ancient texts, oral traditions, and chronicles sometimes describe phenomena that appear almost fantastical to the modern reader. Unusual celestial events, inexplicable natural disasters, or even accounts of creatures whose existence is debated. Whether these records are metaphorical, exaggerated, or literal, they reflect the human impulse to observe, interpret, and narrate experiences that lie at the edge of comprehension. As we consider these accounts, there is a calming rhythm in moving between skepticism and openness, allowing the mind to linger in the gentle tension of wonder without demanding certainty. Some of the most captivating historical mysteries arise from enigmatic structures that continue to defy modern understanding. Sites such as Stonehenge, Göbekli Tepe, and the Pyramids of Giza challenge both engineering expectations and historical chronology. Their construction required ingenuity, organization, and labor that still inspires awe, and yet their full purpose remains elusive. Were they ceremonial, astronomical, or symbolic? Perhaps all three, or perhaps something we have yet to imagine. In contemplating these monuments, the mind is encouraged to move slowly, tracing lines and angles, imagining the hands and minds that shaped stone, and finding comfort in the unanswerable questions that remain suspended in time. Equally mysterious are patterns and alignments found in nature that intersect with human history. Certain structures align with solstices, celestial bodies, or geographical features, suggesting knowledge of astronomy and mathematics far beyond what might be expected. The precision of these alignments evokes curiosity, not just about capability, but also about intention. Why were these structures oriented in this way? What knowledge or meaning did their builders hope to encode? The answers remain partly hidden, allowing the mind to drift into speculation, connecting patterns across sky, land, and human endeavor, all without urgency or pressure. Then there are historical anomalies that continue to puzzle researchers. Artifacts discovered in unexpected layers of Earth, inscriptions in languages that have resisted translation, or technological feats that appear centuries ahead of their time. These anomalies create moments where fact and mystery meet, gently disrupting conventional narratives. Each one is an invitation to wonder, to think expansively about human history, and to acknowledge the limits of our current knowledge. In the quiet reflection of these anomalies, there is a rhythm that is both soothing and invigorating, a recognition of the vastness of time, the complexity of human action, and the infinite possibilities that remain unexplored. Many unexplained historical phenomena also reside in the realm of human behavior and culture. Practices, rituals, and social structures sometimes emerge that seem mysterious or even inexplicable from a modern perspective. Ancient festivals, ceremonial burials, and symbolic art forms provide glimpses into belief systems and worldviews that differ radically from contemporary assumptions. While we may never fully understand their significance, contemplating them allows the mind to practice empathy across time, imagining how people thought, felt, and made meaning in their lives. In this gentle exploration, the unknown becomes a space for connection rather than frustration, a place where curiosity can unfold slowly like a candle flame. Some historical mysteries intersect with a natural world, where geography, climate, or ecological changes appear to influence human events in subtle yet profound ways. Lost civilizations, sudden migrations, or cultural shifts may be linked to rivers changing course, volcanic eruptions, or shifting climates. These phenomena are not merely physical. They shape human behavior, belief systems, and creativity. The mind is invited to move fluidly between natural and human history, recognizing that some mysteries exist in the delicate interplay between humanity and the world it inhabits. There's a quiet beauty in this, a reassurance that the unknown can be explored thoughtfully and reflectively, without urgency or alarm. Astronomical phenomena also play a role in historical mysteries, from unexplained sightings in ancient texts to structures aligned with celestial events. Records of comets, eclipses, or lights in the sky often combine precise observation with the cultural interpretation of the time, creating layers of meaning that challenge modern explanation. These phenomena remind us that humans have always looked upward, seeking patterns, guidance, and understanding, even when the full truth remained elusive. The gentle rhythm of contemplation here mirrors the night sky itself, vast, silent, and infinitely expansive, providing a calming backdrop for curiosity and reflection. Some mysteries are more intimate, involving individual stories and unexplained events in everyday life, preserved through diaries, letters, or oral tradition. These personal enigmas, sudden disappearances, inexplicable survival, or unusual coincidences, offer microcosms of historical wonder. They remind us that mystery is not confined to grand monuments or vast civilizations, but exists also in the lives of ordinary people, whose experiences continue to resonate across time. The mind is invited to drift through these narratives, sensing human resilience, vulnerability, and ingenuity, and finding quiet reassurance in the continuity of human experience. The interplay between myth and history is a recurring theme in unexplained phenomena. Many accounts that appear fantastical may contain kernels of truth, distorted over time, but still pointing toward real events or beliefs. Myths, folktales, and legends often encode cultural knowledge, moral lessons, or historical memory, blending imagination and fact. In contemplating these stories, the mind can wander freely, enjoying the tension between literal and symbolic meaning, between what is known and what remains uncertain. This delicate balance encourages a reflective, meditative state, perfect for gentle nighttime listening. There is also a comforting rhythm in the pursuit of unexplained phenomena. Researchers, archaeologists, and historians uncover clues slowly, revealing fragments of knowledge that illuminate part of the picture while leaving other elements shrouded. This incremental discovery mirrors the way the mind processes curiosity, step by step, layer by layer, without rush. Each new revelation is satisfying, but each unanswered question sustains interest, fostering a calm engagement rather than urgency. It is a rhythm of observation and imagination, a quiet meditation on the beauty of inquiry itself. Ultimately, the appeal of unexplained phenomena in history lies in the interplay between curiosity and calm reflection. These mysteries invite us to sit with the unknown, to explore without expectation, and to experience the joy of discovery in its slowest, most deliberate form. They create a gentle tension between what is known and what is possible, between fact and speculation, offering the mind a space to wander while remaining grounded. In this space, the unknown is not threatening. It is a companion, a guide, and a source of meditative fascination. As we conclude this journey through historical mysteries and unexplained phenomena, a pattern emerges. The past is vast, layered, and alive with questions that invite contemplation rather than immediate answers. These enigmas, whether objects, events, structures, or narratives, serve as reminders that human history is not only a record of achievements, but also a reflection of curiosity, imagination, and wonder. The mysteries linger in the mind like gentle echoes, preparing us for the next chapter of our journey, exploring secret societies, hidden knowledge, and the whispers of history that remain just beyond the light. Hidden in the folds of history are organizations and societies whose existence, intentions, and influence remain shrouded in secrecy. These secret societies have fascinated historians, writers, and dreamers alike, offering a tantalizing intersection of fact, legend, and speculation. They are often portrayed as guardians of forbidden knowledge, custodians of ancient wisdom, or architects of historical events from behind the scenes. What makes them compelling is not simply their secrecy, but the sense that history itself has layers beyond what is recorded in official chronicles, layers that whisper of hidden motivations, clandestine rituals, and carefully guarded truths. As we explore these societies, the mind is invited into a world where the boundaries between reality and myth gently blur, allowing curiosity to roam freely in a reflective, meditative space. Some of the earliest known secret societies emerged in times of social and political upheaval, when groups formed for protection, solidarity, or the preservation of knowledge. Their members often belonged to the educated or influential classes, giving them access to resources and networks that could be used to maintain their secrecy. These organizations developed rituals, symbols, and codes of conduct that reinforced loyalty, provided identity, and concealed information from outsiders. Over time, the secrecy itself became a source of intrigue, as the combination of exclusivity and mystery sparked speculation and rumor. In contemplating these groups, we begin to sense that secrecy has always been a tool not only for protection, but also for shaping narratives and influencing perception. Among the most famous secret societies is the Freemasons, whose origins can be traced back to the medieval stonemason guilds. The organization evolved into a complex fraternity with elaborate rituals, symbolism, and philosophical teachings. Freemasonry emphasizes moral development, community service, and the pursuit of knowledge, yet its traditions and ceremonies remain opaque to outsiders. The allure lies partly in what is visible, elaborate symbols, meeting halls, and public philanthropy, but largely in what remains hidden. The full meaning of rituals, the identities of members, and the historical influence of the group. In exploring Freemasonry, we encounter a gentle tension between openness and concealment, a dynamic that is both comforting and quietly fascinating. The Illuminati is another organization that has captured the imagination of countless minds across centuries. Founded in the late 18th century in Bavaria, the Illuminati originally aimed to promote reason, secularism, and the reduction of superstition. Despite its short-lived official existence, myths and conspiracy theories have inflated its influence, suggesting a clandestine hand guiding global events. Whether as historical fact or symbolic concept, the Illuminati represents the enduring human fascination with hidden authority, control, and the possibility that some truths remain reserved for a select few. Contemplating such societies invites the imagination to wander, tracing invisible connections across history while maintaining a calm, reflective awareness of the difference between legend and evidence. Beyond these well-known examples, countless smaller or less documented societies have left traces in history. Scholars have uncovered references to brotherhoods devoted to esoteric knowledge, philosophical study, or spiritual enlightenment, each with its own codes and rituals. Some operated quietly, their influence subtle, embedded in cultural, scientific, or political developments. Others attracted suspicion and hostility, leaving only fragments of records behind. These groups, though less famous, remind us that secrecy has always been a part of the human impulse to seek understanding and to protect what is considered sacred, dangerous, or transformative. Symbols and rituals are central to the identity of secret societies, and they often serve multiple purposes. They provide structure and meaning for members, create bonds of trust, and communicate values in coded form. Symbols may be geometric, alchemical, or mythological, while rituals may involve initiations, recitations, or meditative practices. These elements are not only functional, but also deeply poetic, blending art, philosophy, and psychology into a cohesive whole. For the observer, the hidden meanings spark curiosity, as every symbol and gesture invites speculation about intention, interpretation, and historical context. This interplay between visible action and concealed significance is precisely what makes secret societies such a rich subject for reflective storytelling. Throughout history, secret societies have intersected with politics, religion, and culture in ways that are sometimes overt and sometimes subtle. In certain eras, they influenced philosophical movements, social reform, and intellectual discourse. In others, they became scapegoats for societal anxieties, accused of manipulating events from the shadows. Their duality, both active participants in shaping history and subjects of myth, creates a narrative space where the mind can dwell in gentle ambiguity. The observer is encouraged to consider multiple possibilities, weighing evidence, legend, and interpretation, while remaining immersed in the contemplative rhythm of historical exploration. The mystery surrounding secret societies is amplified by the scarcity of records and the deliberate concealment of information. Many documents are destroyed, lost, or intentionally kept secret, leaving gaps that fuel speculation. These gaps do not frustrate the meditative listener. Rather, they create breathing space for imagination and reflection. The mind can wander through corridors of power, whispering halls, and ceremonial chambers, exploring the symbolism and potential influence of these groups, without pressure to arrive at definitive conclusions. In this gentle exploration, curiosity and calm coexist harmoniously. Some secret societies have also been linked to esoteric knowledge, wisdom considered too dangerous, sacred, or transformative to share with the general public. This knowledge might include philosophical teachings, mystical practices, or scientific insights. The notion of hidden wisdom resonates across cultures and time periods, reflecting a universal human desire to seek deeper understanding while respecting boundaries. Contemplating these possibilities fosters a sense of wonder and humility, reminding us that human history is not only a record of achievement, but also a repository of mysteries yet to be understood. Myths and legends surrounding secret societies often intertwine with historical events, adding layers of narrative richness. Whether it is the idea of concealed treasure, cryptic manuscripts, or silent manipulation of political movements, these stories capture the imagination and invite reflection. They operate on multiple levels, as history, as psychology, and as narrative art. For the gentle listener, the stories are not urgent calls to solve a puzzle, but invitations to drift into a world where human intention, ambition, and creativity play out in shadows and whispers. Traveling through the history of secret societies also reveals patterns of human behavior. Our fascination with secrecy, our desire for belonging, and our need to protect and transmit knowledge. The secrecy itself becomes a mirror, reflecting both societal structures and the human mind's inclination to explore what is hidden. This exploration is calming, like walking through a dimly lit archive or tracing delicate etchings on an ancient manuscript. It requires patience and attention, yet rewards the mind with a quiet, sustained engagement that is both soothing and enriching. Even today, secret societies continue to exist in various forms, from fraternal organizations to modern professional or academic groups with confidential practices. The continuity of these traditions underscores the enduring human attraction to mystery, exclusivity, and structured exploration of knowledge. Whether we approach them as historical phenomena, cultural artifacts, or symbolic metaphors, they serve as reminders that history is rarely linear or fully transparent. There are always layers of meaning, intention, and secrecy waiting to be discovered, or quietly imagined, by those willing to observe attentively. Ultimately, the study of secret societies offers more than intrigue. It offers a lens through which to view human aspiration, curiosity, and imagination. These groups embody the tension between openness and concealment, knowledge and speculation, reality and myth. In reflecting upon them, the listener is invited to move gently between these dualities, cultivating both a sense of wonder and a serene acceptance of uncertainty. There is a quiet beauty in acknowledging that not all mysteries are meant to be solved, that some secrets are designed to inspire reflection rather than immediate comprehension. As this chapter of our journey concludes, we carry with us the sense that the past is alive with hidden knowledge, whispered wisdom, and human ingenuity expressed in secrecy. Secret societies, with their symbols, rituals, and enigmatic histories, remind us that there is always more beneath the surface of recorded history. They prepare the mind for the next leg of exploration, where hidden messages, forgotten texts, and coded knowledge continue to illuminate the delicate balance between curiosity, imagination, and calm reflection. The 18th and 19th centuries were times of profound change, with the rise of industrialization, scientific progress, and a newfound curiosity about the natural world. However, alongside the dazzling advances, there was a dark undercurrent of unexplained phenomena that captured the imagination of the masses and left experts puzzled. This period was one where reason and logic were often at odds with the mysteries of nature, creating a fascinating juxtaposition between the known and the unknown. As cities expanded and new technologies emerged, so too did an array of unexplained occurrences. These oddities, whether natural or human-made, began to surface with increasing frequency, captivating those who would later become the pioneers of modern science, and intriguing those who saw them as signs of something more. Here, we find ourselves drawn into the stories of mysterious natural events, unusual discoveries, and inexplicable occurrences that defied the conventional understanding of the time. One of the most prominent and unsettling mysteries of this era was the phenomenon of spontaneous human combustion, a concept that emerged as a terrifying idea during the 18th century. Accounts of people inexplicably bursting into flames, often without any apparent source of ignition, sparked widespread fear and speculation. Bodies were found entirely charred, with no signs of an external fire, while the surrounding environment remained untouched. Despite extensive investigations, no concrete explanation was ever found, leaving the mystery to persist in both scientific discussions and folklore for centuries. Was it a bizarre accident, an act of foul play, or something far beyond the comprehension of contemporary scientists? The absence of definitive answers only fueled further intrigue, with some even suggesting that the phenomenon was the result of unknown chemical reactions within the human body. In parallel to these eerie reports, the 18th and 19th centuries were a time of great archaeological discoveries, many of which were surrounded by their own set of inexplicable questions. The unearthing of ancient ruins, fossilized remains, and strange artifacts in far-flung corners of the globe seemed to suggest a rich and hidden history that had long been forgotten. Yet, as with all great archaeological finds, the true origins and meanings of many of these discoveries were often shrouded in mystery. Take, for example, the discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799, a simple slab of rock that, on its surface, contained a long-forgotten language. It would go on to unlock the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, revealing untold stories of a civilization long past. Yet, even in this triumph of discovery, questions lingered about the origins of the stone itself. How had it been lost to history, and why had it remained hidden for so long? The scientific advancements of this period also gave rise to countless anomalies in natural history, some of which continue to puzzle researchers today. The study of fossils and prehistoric life exploded during the 19th century, with the works of figures like Mary Anning and Charles Lyell laying the groundwork for modern paleontology. Yet, in the midst of this newfound understanding of the Earth's ancient past, strange fossilized remains began to surface. Creatures that appeared to defy the logic of evolutionary progression, challenging everything scientists thought they knew. The discovery of creatures like the Mokombembe, a supposed dinosaur-like creature allegedly spotted in the Congo River basin, added fuel to the fire speculation. Could there still be relics of the past hiding in remote corners of the world, waiting to be discovered? And then there were the reports of mysterious aircraft and flying machines, some of which seemed to defy the laws of physics, adding an air of intrigue to the scientific landscape. The most famous of these was the sighting of an unexplained flying object during the early 19th century, which was described by a number of witnesses as a phantom airship. These reports were scattered across Europe and America, many describing a strange, glowing vessel moving in ways that were impossible for the technology of the time. Such sightings fueled the imaginations of those who believed that the age of flight was not as new as it appeared, and that some mysterious force or lost technology was at work. What makes these phenomena all the more captivating is the fact that they occurred during a time of intense intellectual development. The Enlightenment had ushered in an era of scientific reason, and yet these oddities, both natural and man-made, seemed to defy the logic of the day. As scientific minds tried to make sense of the world, these mysteries served as a reminder that there was still so much beyond their understanding. The urge to find explanations, whether through rational investigation or speculative theories, gave birth to a host of theories, some grounded in reality, and others in the realms of fantasy and folklore. However, the mysteries of this time were not simply limited to the realm of the unexplained, but often found their way into popular culture and literature, further embedding them in the collective imagination. Writers like Edgar Allan Poe and Mary Shelley, inspired by the bizarre happenings of their time, wove these oddities into their work, blending the eerie with the rational. Poe's tales of psychological horror and Shelley's classic novel Frankenstein were not just works of fiction, but reflections of the era's fascination with the boundary between the known and the unknown. And as the 19th century gave way to the 20th, many of these strange occurrences continued to baffle scientists and enthusiasts alike. Some believe that the dawn of the modern age would bring answers, but the mysteries only seemed to deepen. In fact, many of the discoveries made during this time, though groundbreaking in their own right, left lingering questions that still echo today. The lost city of Atlantis, the Bermuda Triangle, and the mystery of the pyramids all found their way into public discourse, feeding a hunger for answers that could never quite be satisfied. By the time the 20th century arrived, the line between science and superstition had become increasingly blurred. What had once been dismissed as mere folklore began to find its way into scientific inquiry. The strange artifacts, phenomena, and sightings of the 18th and 19th centuries would lay the groundwork for the wave of mysteries that would define the modern era, from UFOs to cryptids and beyond. The fascination with the unknown, it seemed, was not a passing phase, but a deeply ingrained part of human curiosity. These discoveries, both puzzling and awe-inspiring, serve as a reminder of our shared desire to understand the world around us. They highlight the ways in which the natural world, despite our best efforts, continues to surprise and confound us. And they reveal something deeper. Perhaps the mysteries of history will always remain just beyond our grasp, waiting to be discovered in quiet corners of the earth and whispered about in the stillness of the night. In the end, the oddities of the 18th and 19th centuries are more than just historical curiosities. They are markers of the uncharted realms of knowledge that still beckon us, even now, to seek answers in the quiet places where history's most curious mysteries lie waiting. As the centuries passed, the mysteries of the world became more intimately intertwined with human experience. The line between historical events and the myths we tell to explain them began to blur. In the 18th and 19th centuries, unsolved crimes and enigmatic legends took on a life of their own, occupying the minds of ordinary people and intellectuals alike. These mysteries transcended the boundaries of mere factual history, seeping into the realm of folklore, superstition, and the collective consciousness of societies around the world. In the stillness of the night, the quiet murmur of whispered legends would spread from town to town, from country to country, feeding the imaginations of those who listened. But among these stories were darker, more unsettling events, crimes that defied explanation, leaving behind only questions. The contrast between the known and the unknown became particularly evident when dealing with unsolved crimes. Facts would be painstakingly examined, evidence meticulously analyzed, but the truth remained elusive. What then could be said about these haunting mysteries? Were they mere products of human error, or did they contain something more, a hidden, unspoken truth that history had failed to record? One such enigma that captured the imagination of the Victorian world was the case of Jack the Ripper, the notorious figure whose crimes have become synonymous with mystery and horror. In 1888, London was gripped by terror as a series of brutal murders took place in the Whitechapel district. The killer's identity remains unknown, despite countless theories and investigations, both at the time and in the years that followed. What makes this case especially eerie is not just the gruesome nature of the crimes, but the way the legend of Jack the Ripper has evolved. Over the years, the figure of Jack the Ripper has transcended the realm of fact, becoming a symbol of the darker, more primal forces that lie just beneath the surface of society. Was Jack a madman driven by some unseen compulsion, or was there something more sinister at play? The fact that the murders have never been solved only adds to the mythos surrounding the killer's identity, leaving behind a chilling legacy of unanswered questions. Yet, beyond the darkness of unsolved crimes, there is also a world of legends and folklore that has persisted through the centuries, stories that blur the lines between history and imagination. Some of these tales are steeped in real events, but over time, they become exaggerated or twisted into something far more mysterious. Take, for example, the legend of the Blood Countess, Elizabeth Bathory, a noblewoman of the 16th century who was accused of torturing and murdering young women. The stories of her cruelty grew into such a grotesque mythology that, even today, her name evokes images of a sadistic figure who bathed in the blood of her victims to preserve her youth. The historical truth of Bathory's life is clouded by the tales that have come to define her, tales of unimaginable horror that have been passed down through generations, becoming so entwined with the facts that they are nearly indistinguishable. The legend of Elizabeth Bathory is a prime example of how myths grow from kernels of truth, spiraling into something much darker and more enduring than the reality ever was. Similarly, in the vast expanses of rural America, there are countless legends of strange happenings and unsolved mysteries, many of which have never been fully explained. From the eerie tales of the Mothman in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, to the legend of the Bell Witch, whose haunting of a Tennessee family in the early 19th century was said to drive them to madness. These stories have become deeply ingrained in the culture of their regions. Some are based on real occurrences, strange lights in the sky, unexplained deaths, or unaccountable phenomena, while others are pure folklore, passed down as cautionary tales or local ghost stories. These legends, though often steeped in supernatural imagery, have roots in unresolved events, and their mysteries have persisted, fueled by generations of storytellers and the human thirst for answers. As we dive deeper into the mystery of unsolved crimes and legends, we see a recurring theme: the elusiveness of truth. In many cases, the facts remain as elusive as shadows in the night, slipping away from the grasp of those trying to make sense of them. Yet, it is precisely this elusiveness that keeps the mysteries alive. In the absence of clear answers, speculation thrives, and the narratives take on lives of their own. The absence of resolution is what fuels curiosity and keeps the stories fresh, always on the edge of discovery. A prime example of this enduring mystery is the case of the Istil woman, a mysterious woman whose body was found in 1970 in a remote area of Norway's Isdalen Valley. Despite extensive investigations, the woman's identity remains unknown, and the circumstances of her death are shrouded in ambiguity. Evidence suggests that she may have been a spy, possibly linked to Cold War-era espionage, but no concrete answers have ever been found. As we move further into the modern era, it becomes clear that the line between folklore and reality continues to blur, with the stories of old evolving into the modern myths that captivate our imaginations today. These contemporary legends often emerge from the very same roots as those told by our ancestors, but they take on new forms, adapted to the context of a rapidly changing world. Where once a tale might have been whispered in the darkness of a medieval tavern or passed down through generations in quiet rural villages, today, myths spread across the globe, reaching millions through technology, books, and movies. Despite the advancement of science and technology, people still seek stories that transcend the everyday, stories that stretch the boundaries of what is real and what is imagined. In the early days of civilization, folklore was a way for people to explain the mysteries of nature, the cosmos, and the human condition. The banshee, for example, was believed to be an omen of death, a wailing spirit whose cry would foretell the passing of a loved one. Similarly, legends of vampires and werewolves were rooted in real fears of disease, death, and the unknown forces lurking in the night. These stories were born from the fears and uncertainties of their time, and they helped people make sense of a world that was often harsh and unpredictable. As centuries passed, folklore continued to evolve, absorbing new elements from changing societal norms, the spread of religion, and the advancements of science. In the 19th century, as the world began to embrace industrialization, the supernatural tales of old seemed to be overtaken by the march of progress. Scientific discovery, the rise of rationalism, and the growth of global communication made the once mysterious world feel smaller, more explainable. Yet, even as the world became more rational, new stories began to emerge, filled with strange phenomena that defied the new worldview. What was it about these tales that still captured the imagination of the public, even in the face of modernity? The 20th century would be the turning point, a time when folklore merged seamlessly with popular culture, shaping new myths that were firmly grounded in the anxieties of the age. The rise of science fiction, particularly during the mid-20th century, played a pivotal role in the creation of modern myths. Stories of flying saucers, alien encounters, and Area 51 became woven into the fabric of global consciousness. What began as pulp fiction in magazines like Amazing Stories transformed into something far larger, as films like The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977, captured the imaginations of millions. These new myths, born from the anxieties of the space age, became a way for people to wrestle with the unknown. Were we alone in the universe? What lay beyond the stars? These questions, which had once been relegated to the realm of myth, were now being asked with a new urgency, as the very possibility of alien life seemed more tangible with each passing year. Similarly, the Bermuda Triangle, once merely a curious area in the Atlantic Ocean, evolved into one of the most enduring modern myths. The mysterious disappearances of ships and planes in this region have sparked countless theories, some plausible, others wild and fantastical. Is there a scientific explanation for the strange occurrences, or does the Bermuda Triangle represent a place where the laws of nature break down? Stories of disappearing flights, crew members found dead without explanation, and aircrafts lost without a trace only deepened the sense of mystery. As this myth entered the public imagination, it became a part of the broader narrative of unexplained phenomena that haunted the 20th century. And then there are the urban legends, those unsettling stories that often begin with a kernel of truth but are twisted and exaggerated over time. The tale of the killer in the back seat, for instance, has persisted across decades, with variations told in every corner of the world. The basic premise is simple. A driver, often a woman, is unaware that a would-be assailant is hiding in the back of her car. When she pulls into a gas station or a well-lit area, the attendant warns her of the danger lurking in the back seat, sometimes saving her life. The story has been retold so many times, in so many different places, that it's hard to know where the legend began and where the facts end. Urban legends like this one tap into deep-seated fears about safety, the dangers of the unknown, and the vulnerabilities of modern life. Though rooted in real concerns, They have grown into myths that seem to exist independently of any particular time or place. Yet, even as these new myths emerge, they often revisit old themes: the fear of the unknown, the fascination with death, and the desire to explain the inexplicable. Many modern myths are centered around figures like the Mothman, the Chupacabra, and Bigfoot, creatures that seem to straddle the line between reality and imagination. These legends often grow out of reported sightings and strange occurrences that have no clear explanation. The Mothman, for example, was first reported in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, in the 1960s, where witnesses described a large, winged creature with glowing red eyes. Over time, the legend of the Mothman grew into a larger symbol of ominous forewarning, tied to the collapse of the Silver Bridge in 1967. Was a Mothman a harbinger of disaster, or merely an overactive imagination fueled by local lore? Regardless of the truth, the myth persists, shaping the identity of the region and continuing to captivate those who are drawn to the supernatural. The persistence of modern myths reflects a timeless need within the human psyche, a need to seek meaning in the unknown. Despite the growth of technology, the rise of rational thought, and the spread of global communication, people still crave stories that venture beyond the mundane. In many ways, the modern myths we share are no different from the legends told by our ancestors. They simply reflect the fears, hopes, and questions of the present moment. And just as in centuries past, these stories offer a sense of comfort and intrigue. Throughout history, there have been civilizations that, despite their monumental achievements, have left little more than whispers in the wind. The sands of time have eroded their monuments, and the ebbing tides have swallowed their cities. But the stories of these lost worlds persist in the collective memory of humanity. Ancient ruins scattered across the globe offer tantalizing clues about what once was, yet they often raise more questions than they answer. What happened to these civilizations? And why have they vanished so mysteriously? Was their disappearance a natural catastrophe, a slow decline, or the result of forces that were far beyond their control? As we explore the enigmatic remnants of these lost civilizations, we find ourselves drawn into a world where history and mystery coexist, where the faintest traces of the past stir our imaginations and challenge our understanding of the world. One of the most famous examples of a lost civilization is that of Atlantis, a fabled city first mentioned by the philosopher Plato around 360 BC. According to his writings, Atlantis was a powerful and technologically advanced island nation that existed over 9,000 years before his time. However, Atlantis was said to have sunk into the sea in a single day and night of catastrophe, vanishing without a trace. Plato's account of Atlantis has inspired countless theories and explorations, with some believing that it may have been a real place, while others argue that it was merely an allegorical tale. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the allure of Atlantis persists, with its story becoming one of the most enduring and mysterious myths in human history. Was Atlantis a mythic reflection of an ancient culture, or is there a kernel of truth in the story? Some lost civilization that was swallowed by the ocean? In the same breath, the Mayan civilization stands as another example of a once great society whose eventual collapse remains an unsolved mystery. The Maya were known for their advanced knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and architecture, with cities such as Tikal, Palenque, and Chichen Itza serving as awe-inspiring reminders of their achievements. However, by the time the Spanish arrived in the 16th century, much of the Maya civilization had already experienced a dramatic decline. The reasons behind their downfall remain a subject of debate among scholars. Was it a result of environmental factors, such as prolonged droughts or deforestation? Or were social and political factors, such as internal conflict and warfare, to blame? Despite the ongoing research and many discoveries, the exact causes of the Maya collapse remain elusive, and their cities remain as silent witnesses to a once thriving world that is now mostly forgotten. Equally enigmatic are the ruins of Easter Island, home to the iconic Moai statues that have long fascinated archaeologists and visitors alike. Located in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, the island's isolation adds to its mystique. The Moai, some standing as tall as 30 feet, were carved from volcanic rock by the island's ancient inhabitants, the Rapa Nui people. But as impressive as these statues are, they are shrouded in mystery. How were these massive sculptures transported across the island? What led to the downfall of the Rapa Nui civilization? Some theorists suggest that the collapse of the society was due to deforestation, as the Rapa Nui people overharvested the island's trees, making it difficult to transport the statues. Others believe that social unrest and internal conflict may have played a role in the island's decline. Yet, the true reasons for the fall of Easter Island civilization remain one of the world's greatest unanswered questions. Similarly, the lost city of Petra in Jordan, often referred to as the Rose City due to the color of the rock from which it is carved, continues to fascinate archaeologists and explorers. Once a thriving trading hub in the ancient world, Petra's strategic location along the spice and silk trade routes allowed it to flourish for centuries. Yet, by the 7th century, the city had mysteriously declined, its grandeur fading as time passed. Some believe that changing trade routes and shifting political powers led to the city's decline, while others suggest that a combination of environmental factors, such as earthquakes and water scarcity, might have contributed. Whatever the cause, Petra's rise and fall remain a captivating mystery, with the secrets of its past buried deep within the sandstone cliffs and narrow canyons that make it so striking. Moving further back in time, the story of Mesopotamia, often regarded as the cradle of civilization, offers another fascinating glimpse into the mysteries of lost societies. Ancient cities like Babylon, Nineveh, and Ur were once home to vast empires that wielded tremendous power and influence. Yet, many of these cities were eventually abandoned, their ruins left as silent echoes of their former glory. The fall of these great cities is tied to the complex interplay of war, natural disaster, and the inevitable cycles of rise and fall that characterize all civilizations. Babylon, for example, once the heart of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, fell to the Persian king Cyrus the Great in 539 BC, and though it briefly regained prominence in later years, it never returned to its former glory. Today, the ruins of Babylon lie mostly in ruins, a shadow of its once vibrant past. In the far north, the Viking settlements offer a different kind of mystery. While the Norsemen are well known for their raids and exploration across Europe, their settlement in Vinland, believed to be part of North America, has puzzled historians for centuries. The discovery of L'Anse aux Meadows in Newfoundland, Canada, confirmed the Vikings' presence in North America around 1000 AD, but much of their activities in the region remain unclear. Why did the Vikings abandon their settlements in Vinland? Some historians point to the harsh environment and the difficulty of maintaining a colony so far from home, while others suggest that conflict with indigenous populations may have contributed to their departure. Still, the true reasons for the Vikings' eventual retreat from North America remain shrouded in mystery. These civilizations, along with many others, remind us that history is not simply a linear narrative of progress. There are gaps, places where the threads of time have frayed, and where the story is incomplete. In every corner of the earth, from the jungles of Central America to the deserts of the Middle East, remnants of ancient cultures lie hidden, waiting to be uncovered. The loss of these civilizations speaks to the fragility of human achievement, to the forces of nature and time that inevitably wear away even the most magnificent of creations. But it also speaks to something more, the enduring curiosity of humanity, the desire to reach into the past and understand the forces that shaped our world. As we examine these lost worlds, we are reminded that there is still much we do not know, much that remains hidden just beneath the surface. Whether it's the mysterious fate of Atlantis, the collapse of the Maya, or the rise and fall of the Vikings, these lost civilizations offer more than just academic puzzles. They speak to our innate desire to understand who we are, where we come from, and what lies beyond the veil of time. The secrets they hold may never be fully revealed, but in their mysteries, we find the echoes of our own questions about the future, the unknown, and the possibility of discovery. In the end, perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not the past itself, but the fact that so much of it remains concealed, waiting for someone, somewhere, to unearth its secrets. These lost civilizations are more than just relics of history. They are gateways to deeper understanding, invitations to explore the vast unknowns that still shape the human experience. In the vast tapestry of history, certain artifacts stand out not because of their beauty or grandeur, but because they have eluded full understanding. Enigmatic objects whose purpose and origin remain shrouded in mystery. These cryptic artifacts, found in the most unlikely of places, often carry with them a sense of the unexplained, stirring the imaginations of those who come across them. Whether they are relics of ancient civilizations, strange tools that defy categorization, or mysterious objects that seem to possess qualities beyond human comprehension, these discoveries prompt more questions than answers. What are we to make of objects that appear out of time and place, that seem to defy the natural laws of the world we know? Why have these strange artifacts remained a mystery? And what can they teach us about the limits of human knowledge? One of the most perplexing examples of such an artifact is the Antikythera mechanism, a device discovered in 1901 among the wreckage of a Roman ship off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera. Often described as the world's first analog computer, the Antikythera mechanism consists of a complex series of gears and dials that allowed the user to predict astronomical events, including eclipses and planetary movements. The sophistication of this device, dating back to around 100 BCE, far exceeds what was thought to have been technologically possible for the time. It has forced historians and scientists to reconsider their understanding of ancient technology and the capabilities of civilizations long thought to be primitive. How did the ancient Greeks, with their limited resources, construct such a sophisticated machine? Was it part of a lost technological tradition? Or did it represent the work of an individual genius whose methods were not widely shared or understood? Yet, despite the ingenuity of the Antikythera mechanism, its true purpose and the full extent of its use remain elusive. Some researchers speculate that it may have been used to chart the movements of the stars for religious or ceremonial purposes, while others suggest it was a tool for astrological predictions. What remains clear, however, is that it is an artifact that stands as a testament to ancient skill and knowledge that has since been lost to time. The question of how such a complex device came into being and why it was abandoned is one that continues to haunt scholars and enthusiasts alike. The Antikythera mechanism is not just an object of curiosity. It is a reminder of how much human history remains veiled in mystery and how the past continues to offer us puzzles we may never fully solve. Equally mysterious is the discovery of the Sumerian tablets, ancient clay tablets that contain some of the earliest known examples of written language. These tablets, uncovered in the ruins of the ancient city of Uar in present-day Iraq, date back to around 2000 BCE and provide valuable insights into the daily lives, religious practices, and administrative systems of the Sumerians. But among the thousands of tablets that have been found, some contain strange inscriptions that have left researchers baffled. Certain tablets seem to describe events or knowledge that were far ahead of their time, touching on concepts of astronomy, mathematics, and even the potential for space travel. Some of these inscriptions hint at knowledge of celestial bodies and cosmic events that would not be understood by modern science until millennia later. What did the Sumerians know about the stars that we have only recently rediscovered? And why are some of these tablets so cryptic in their message? Are they simply the product of early myth-making, or do they point to a more profound understanding of the universe that was lost to the ages? In the realm of ancient mysteries, the Piri Reis map holds an equally compelling place. This 16th century map, drawn by the Ottoman admiral and cartographer Piri Reis, is famous for its depiction of the coastlines of South America and Antarctica, particularly because it shows parts of Antarctica that were not officially discovered until centuries later. What makes the Piri Reis map so mysterious is the accuracy with which it portrays these regions, considering that Antarctica was believed to be covered in ice and inhospitable at the time of its creation. Some theories suggest that the map may have been based on much older sources, potentially maps that have been lost to history, which depict a much warmer, ice-free Antarctica. How could a 16th century sailor have access to such knowledge? And why did the cartographer include such an unusual and highly accurate depiction of the Antarctic coastline? The Piri-Reis map, much like the Antikythera mechanism, challenges our understanding of history, suggesting that there may have been lost civilizations or forgotten knowledge that we have yet to uncover. Turning to more modern enigmas, the discovery of the Nazca lines in Peru presents another strange puzzle. These enormous geoglyphs, some stretching over hundreds of meters in length, can only be fully appreciated from the air, making their purpose all the more mysterious. The Nazca people, who created these lines between 500 BCE and 500 CE, left no written records to explain why they carved these intricate patterns into the desert floor. Some of the designs resemble animals, plants, and geometric shapes, while others seem to point to celestial events or align with the stars. What was the purpose of these vast, ground-level artworks? Were they a form of communication, a ritualistic offering to the gods, or perhaps a way to track astronomical events? The mystery deepens when we consider the scale of the designs and the apparent lack of any practical reason for their construction. Could they have been an ancient form of astronomical observatory, or were they created for reasons beyond our comprehension? The Nazca lines, like many other cryptic artifacts, speak to a fundamental mystery. The past often holds secrets that transcend the limits of our understanding. And then there are the Voynich manuscript and other similarly enigmatic texts. The Voynich manuscript, an illustrated book dating back to the early 15th century, is written in a language that has never been deciphered and is filled with bizarre, otherworldly illustrations. Despite decades of attempts by linguists, cryptographers, and historians, no one has been able to crack the code of the manuscript. Some suggest it may be a hoax, while others believe it contains hidden knowledge or messages from a lost civilization. The manuscript's origins remain just as mysterious as its contents. Who wrote it and why? Was it a secret diary, a work of alchemical knowledge, or a code for something far more profound? The Voynich manuscript has captivated scholars and conspiracy theorists alike, standing as one of the most perplexing and enigmatic objects in the history of cryptic discoveries. Such artifacts and texts remind us of the vastness of human history and the mysteries that continue to elude us. As much as we may have uncovered, there is still so much more to learn. So many objects and ideas lost to time, leaving only their imprints in the sands of history. These cryptic discoveries continue to fascinate us, not just because they defy understanding, but because they serve as a reminder that our knowledge is limited and that the past still holds many secrets. In the end, these strange objects are more than just historical curiosities. They are a window into a time long gone, a time filled with knowledge, creativity, and mysteries that continue to defy explanation. Each artifact is a story waiting to be told, a puzzle waiting to be solved. And even if we never fully understand their meaning or origin, their very existence invites us to keep searching, to keep questioning, and to remain open to the possibility that the world around us is filled with secrets still waiting to be uncovered. Throughout history, there have been countless stories of people, places, and entire ships that have vanished without a trace, leaving only speculation and mystery in their wake. Some of these disappearances are sudden and shocking, while others are drawn out, with unanswered questions lingering for years, even centuries. What makes these disappearances so compelling is not just the absence of answers, but the sense that they defy the laws of nature or reason. In the world of unexplained disappearances, there is no clear explanation, only theories, rumors, and the undeniable feeling that something beyond our understanding has occurred. It is a category of mystery that taps into a primal fear, the fear that one can simply disappear, that one's existence can be erased without warning, and that no one will ever know what truly happened. One of the most famous disappearances in history is that of the Marie Celeste, a ship discovered adrift in the Atlantic Ocean in 1872. When the ship was found, all of its crew members were gone, leaving behind a perfectly intact vessel. The ship's cargo, valuables, and even the personal belongings of the crew remained aboard, yet no trace of the people who had been on board could be found. The ship's last log entry, recorded several days before its discovery, showed no signs of distress, and there was no evidence of foul play. Theories about the Marie Celeste's fate range from the plausible to the fantastical. Some suggest that the crew abandoned the ship due to a sudden disaster, while others propose that there was a mutiny, a seaquake, or even an encounter with an extraterrestrial force. The truth behind the Marie Celeste remains elusive, and its story continues to haunt maritime history as one of the greatest mysteries of the sea. Then there is the case of Amelia Earhart, the pioneering aviator who vanished in 1937 during an attempt to circumnavigate the globe. Earhart's disappearance over the Pacific Ocean, along with her navigator Fred Noonan, has been the subject of intense speculation for decades. Despite extensive search efforts, no conclusive evidence of their fate has ever been found. Some believe that Earhart's plane simply ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean, while others argue that she may have been captured by the Japanese or that her disappearance was part of a covert spy mission. Numerous expeditions have been launched to locate her remains, yet each search yields only more unanswered questions. Earhart's vanishing is not only a tragic loss, but also an enduring symbol of the limits of human exploration and the vast, unforgiving nature of the world. Similarly, the disappearance of the Roanoke colony in 1587 remains one of the most baffling historical mysteries. When a group of English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island, in what is now North Carolina, they found an already established colony. However, when the colony's leader, John White, returned after a 3-year absence, he found the settlement completely deserted. The only clue left behind was the word Croton, carved into a post, suggesting that the settlers had relocated to a nearby island. Despite several search expeditions, no trace of the colonists was ever found. Theories abound. Some suggest that the settlers were attacked by indigenous tribes, while others believe they may have tried to integrate with local populations or even relocated to a different part of the continent. The fate of the Roanoke colony is one of the oldest unsolved mysteries of the American continent, and its eerie sense of abandonment continues to captivate historians and mystery enthusiasts. The idea of sudden and inexplicable disappearance also echoes in more modern contexts, such as the mystery surrounding Flight MH370. In March 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 disappeared while flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. Despite the massive search efforts, only small pieces of wreckage have been recovered, and the location of the plane remains unknown. Some theories suggest mechanical failure or a catastrophic event that led to the plane's loss, while others propose more conspiratorial explanations, including hijacking, terrorism, or even a deliberate act by one of the crew members. The lack of definitive answers to the fate of MH370 has left many wondering how a modern passenger aircraft can simply vanish in this day and age of advanced technology and global surveillance. The story of Flight MH370 raises unsettling questions about the limits of modern navigation and the strange power of the unknown to defy even our most sophisticated tracking systems. Beyond the skies and seas, there are the mysterious disappearances of people in the wilderness. One of the most perplexing cases is that of the missing hikers of the Dyatlov Pass in 1959. A group of 9 experienced trekkers died under strange circumstances while hiking in the Ural Mountains of Soviet Russia. When their bodies were found, some were discovered with severe internal injuries, while others had their tongues and eyes removed, suggesting that they had been subjected to some kind of violent, unexplained force. There were no signs of struggle or animal attacks, and the injuries were inconsistent with known causes of death. The official Soviet investigation concluded that the hikers had died from an avalanche, but many believe that something far more sinister may have been at play, perhaps a secret military test, an encounter with a wild animal, or even an unknown force of nature. To this day, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains a subject of intense speculation, with the real cause of the hikers' deaths still unknown. The Bermuda Triangle, often associated with mysterious disappearances, is another focal point of intrigue. This vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, where ships and planes have seemingly vanished into thin air, has become a symbol of the unexplained. From the infamous case of Flight 19, a group of 5 U.S. Navy bombers that disappeared in 1945, to the countless stories of ships lost without a trace. The Bermuda Triangle has given rise to numerous theories, from magnetic anomalies to extraterrestrial involvement. Despite the abundance of anecdotal evidence, there is no scientific consensus on what causes these disappearances. Some suggest that the region's unpredictable weather, strong currents, or methane gas deposits may be to blame, while others lean toward more supernatural explanations. Whatever the truth, the Bermuda Triangle continues to captivate the public's imagination, symbolizing the eerie potential for the unknown to erase all trace of existence. The phenomenon of unexplained disappearances also extends to individuals who simply vanish into thin air. Cases like that of the missing Sodder children, who disappeared during a Christmas Eve fire in 1945, have sparked theories of foul play, conspiracy, and even abduction. 5 of the 10 Sodder children were never found, despite extensive searches and the fact that no remains were ever discovered in the burned-out house. The family received strange phone calls and letters in the years following the fire, leading them to believe that their children had been taken by someone and hidden away. As we journey through the countless stories of the mysterious and the unexplained, a recurring theme emerges: the nature of these mysteries themselves. What is it about the unknown that captivates us, that keeps us searching for answers long after the answers have eluded us? The appeal of history's most perplexing puzzles lies not only in the questions they raise, but in the way they challenge our understanding of the world. They invite us to look beyond the known, to peer into the shadows of the past, and to consider that there may be aspects of life, of history, that exist beyond our comprehension. Each enigma we encounter serves as a reminder of the limits of human knowledge, and yet, it is this very limitation that pushes us to explore further, to seek the hidden truths that lie just out of reach. What makes a mystery so captivating is the element of the unknown. There is something deeply human about our desire to uncover what has been hidden from us, whether it is an artifact buried beneath centuries of earth, a manuscript written in a code we cannot decipher, or a vanished civilization whose remnants we can only imagine. The appeal of a mystery is in its ability to keep us guessing, to stir our curiosity and fuel our imagination. It reminds us that we live in a world where not all is known, where secrets still abound, waiting to be uncovered. Take, for example, the countless stories of lost civilizations, ancient peoples whose achievements we can only faintly understand through the remnants they left behind. Whether it's the Maya, whose advanced knowledge of mathematics and astronomy was abruptly interrupted by their sudden disappearance, or the Indus Valley civilization, whose script has yet to be deciphered, the mysteries of these long-gone cultures remain a source of endless fascination. What happened to these people? Why did they vanish so completely? What knowledge did they possess, and how did they use it? These questions challenge our assumptions about the limits of human civilization and urge us to reconsider what we know about the past. In many ways, these mysteries serve as a reflection of our own place in time. Just as we look back at these long-forgotten cultures and wonder what they knew, future generations may one day look back at us and ask the same questions. What will they find? What secrets will we leave behind? Will they, too, be left with unanswered questions, grappling with mysteries that are beyond their understanding? The realization that our own civilization may one day become the subject of future mystery seekers adds a layer of poignancy to our exploration of the past. It reminds us that history is not static. It is an ever-evolving tapestry, one that future generations will continue to unravel. One of the most compelling aspects of historical mysteries is the way they make us reconsider the boundaries of human knowledge and understanding. We like to think of history as a linear progression, a series of events unfolding in a predictable manner. And yet, when we encounter an unsolved mystery, we are forced to confront the idea that there may be gaps in that narrative, places where the story does not fit neatly together, where answers are elusive, and where the ordinary rules of time and space seem to break down. These gaps in our understanding are where the mysteries lie, and it is in trying to fill these gaps that we often find ourselves at the edge of the unknown. This is why we are drawn to mysteries, both ancient and modern, to the unexplained phenomena that push the limits of our imagination. They compel us to confront the possibility that our understanding of the world may always be incomplete, that the truth may always be just beyond our reach. And yet, there is a strange comfort in that uncertainty, a reminder that there is still so much to explore, so much to discover. Perhaps it is the very fact that we cannot solve these mysteries that keeps us coming back to them, returning time and time again to ask the same questions, to search for the same answers, knowing full well that they may never come. Even as we uncover more about the world around us, the mysteries persist. New questions arise as old ones are answered, and new discoveries seem to only open the door to even greater enigmas. The discovery of ancient tombs, like the tomb of Tutankhamun in Egypt or the mysterious Stonehenge in England, often leads to more questions than answers. What did these tombs and structures mean to the people who created them? What secrets do they still hold? These are questions we have been asking for centuries, and yet they remain unanswered in many ways, keeping us engaged in the quest for knowledge. The pursuit of these mysteries also speaks to something deeper within us, the desire for meaning. In a world that often feels uncertain and chaotic, the search for answers, for clarity, is a way to impose order on the unknown. It is a way to find purpose in the face of the infinite and the unknowable. When we uncover an artifact, a text, or a clue that sheds light on a mystery, it feels as though we have pierced through the veil of time and touched something eternal, something that connects us to those who came before us and to those who may one day come after us. It is this deep, almost spiritual connection to history that fuels our fascination with the unknown. However, it is not always about finding answers. Sometimes, the beauty of a mystery lies in its very lack of resolution. The absence of an explanation is what gives these stories their power. They remain open-ended, allowing us to project our own imaginations and theories onto them. This open-ended nature is what keeps the mysteries alive, turning them into something more than just puzzles to be solved. They become part of the human story, part of the larger narrative of our quest for meaning, understanding, and connection. The stories of the unexplained also remind us of the fragility of knowledge itself. Just as we seek to uncover the past, we must also confront the idea that what we know today may one day be lost to time. In the same way that ancient civilizations have left us with only traces of their existence, our own knowledge, too, could one day vanish, leaving behind only fragments for future generations to decipher. This thought, while unsettling, also carries with it a sense of humility. It reminds us that we are part of a much larger story, a story that stretches across millennia and will continue long after we are gone. In the end, it is the mystery itself that holds the most power. The unresolved, the unknown, the unexplainable. These are the things that capture our imaginations, that drive us to explore, to search, and to question. They are what keep us engaged with the past, with the unknown, and with the future. We may never fully solve the mysteries of history, but perhaps that is not the point. Perhaps it is the very act of seeking the answers that enriches our lives, giving us a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. So, as we close the pages of these mysterious tales, we are reminded that history is full of stories that remain untold, of answers that remain hidden. And that is perhaps the most profound mystery of all. The knowledge that the unknown will always be with us, waiting to be discovered, waiting to stir our curiosity, and waiting to shape the narrative of the future. As we reach the conclusion of our journey through history's greatest unsolved mysteries, we are left with more questions than answers, a state of wonderment that is perhaps the most profound aspect of these tales. Mysteries are more than just puzzles waiting to be solved. They are reflections of our deepest curiosities, our thirst for knowledge, and our ability to face the unknown with courage and imagination. Each story we've explored, from the vanishing ships to the unexplained disappearances of individuals to the ancient ruins that defy explanation, serves as a reminder that there is still so much we do not know about the world. And yet, it is this very uncertainty that keeps us engaged, keeps us seeking, and keeps us dreaming. When we look back at the mysteries of the past, we're not just looking at unsolved cases. We are witnessing a profound human experience. Every unanswered question is a window into a part of our collective psyche, the part that is drawn to the unknown, to the places in life and history that defy reason. The mysteries of our world tap into something deep within us, something primal, that desires to understand the universe and our place within it. Whether it's the mystery of the pyramids of Egypt, the eerie disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, or the ancient Nazca lines, each of these mysteries speaks to our inherent need to connect with something greater, something beyond ourselves. And yet, as we seek answers, we must also acknowledge the beauty of the mysteries themselves. There's a strange allure in the unsolved, in the things that remain hidden from view. From the search for meaning, we often discover more about ourselves than about the world we are trying to understand. Each mystery, in its own way, teaches us about the limitations of our knowledge and the boundless nature of human imagination. It challenges us to accept that some things may always remain beyond our grasp, and in doing so, it frees us from the burden of certainty, allowing us to revel in the wonder of the unknown. As we stand at the intersection of fact and mystery, we are reminded that the unknown is not something to fear, but something to embrace. The unresolved mysteries of history, whether they involve lost civilizations or vanished explorers, are not signs of failure, but symbols of the endless human pursuit of discovery. They are milestones along a journey that stretches far beyond any one lifetime, a journey that will continue long after we are gone. In a way, these mysteries are not meant to be solved. They are meant to be lived with, pondered over, and passed down through generations as part of the larger narrative of human curiosity and resilience. The world is full of stories waiting to be told, and as we drift through the night, it is these stories that continue to echo in our minds. The mysteries we explore tonight, like all the great unsolved questions of history, are far from over. Perhaps one day they will be solved. New discoveries may shed light on the darkest corners of the past, and the questions that have lingered for centuries may finally be answered. But even if they are never fully explained, these mysteries will continue to live on in our imaginations, in our dreams, and in the endless search for knowledge that defines us as human beings. In the quiet moments before sleep, as we reflect on the enigmatic tales we've uncovered, we are reminded that not everything in this world is meant to be understood. There is beauty in the unanswerable, a certain peace in accepting that some things are simply beyond our comprehension. It is this acceptance that allows us to find comfort in the mysteries, to let go of the need for resolution, and to simply marvel at the complexity and wonder of the world around us. So, as we close our eyes and drift into a deep sleep, let the mysteries of the past linger in our minds like soft shadows, gently fading away as we surrender to rest. The stories we have explored tonight are not just about the things we cannot explain. They are about the human experience itself, the quest for understanding, the need to ask questions, and the joy of contemplating the vastness of the unknown. In the quiet of the night, these mysteries will continue to exist, waiting for the next curious soul to wonder, to seek, and to dream. And perhaps, when we wake in the morning, we will carry with us the quiet knowing that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, leaving us with a sense of wonder that transcends time itself.